while everyone is doing Christmas shopping at malls during Black Friday, I will be doing some Black Friday wayfaring around some familiar territory. Vickiers Crossing is one of my familiar spots that I used to go east of Toledo area. Usually I don't come here anymore, but today I will make that exception because I will be joined by my friend Jimmy at Vickiers Crossing. Actually, our first train that we would catch here at Vickiers Crossing would end up being a power move for the Ann Arbor Yard that has a 103C AC or CF44 rebuild, and the leader, if it would go back south, would end up being a Y&2 AC44. The train that we are capturing would end up being an NS22H. 22H is from Chicago, Illinois to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They had a lot of JB Hunt for Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And actually, this would be the only train that we would actually catch on NS, since we would have to go to lunch. And we would end up getting a special interest heritage locomotive that would end up being on 383, which is a Toronto to Toledo, Ohio, on the CN South Shore line. And that would end up being CN 3069, which would end up being the Wisconsin Central. After 22H clears Vickiers Diamond, the power set would end up getting a clear signal for going north for the Ann Arbor Yard to pick up some grain cars along the way. In the meanwhile, after the power set would go by, we would get another clear. Well, we can't really see, but we assumed it would be starting to move since there was no NSs going east and west. And we also heard the horn of this 844, which ended up being a ES44AC leading the way on I-150. After we ate lunch at Bob Evans, we decided to make our way to the CN of Lang Yard. We did end up seeing the yard switcher switching around the Lang Yard at the north end. But then, we decided to get off at the nearest exit because we didn't know if there would be a southbound getting ready to get into the yard. Well, there was ended up being another train getting ready into the yard. That would end up being M383, the train that I was talking about that would have the Wisconsin Central 3069. I literally have no idea what the heck are they doing. After we would shoot 3069, we decided to make our way back to Vickiers. While we made the Vickiers, we ended up seeing a southbound 151 that would head southbound for North Baltimore, Ohio, with a duo of AC-44, not we build. They're all wanted 3, of course. I wish the leader would be in 1 and 2, but that's alright. Seeing an older AC-44 is kind of cool because, well, they're getting into the wheat build. The wheat build would be a CM44 AC or AH. guys see that, that was CSX 160. 160 is basically an older AC-44 leading on M209. M209 comes from Detroit, Michigan to Louisville, Kentucky. Basically, he would have to work Walbridge, and then after he gets done Walbridge, he would have to go south towards Cincinnati. I think he works Cincinnati, but I hardly don't think so. Half of the time, I've been noticing that 209 goes down to the CC, which is the Cincinnati Corbin subdivision, goes down to Baldwin, Florida. But most of the time, if it doesn't have any ROX for Baldwin, he basically goes to Louisville, Kentucky. So after M209 would pass through Northwood, it would basically be another 10 to 15 minutes. And while we waited till there was no NS's to go by, we did end up seeing that G731. G731 comes from Toledo, Ohio, from the interchange of Ann Arbor Railroad to Rocky Mount, North Carolina. This is his first attempt of his adventure. His destination is Rocky Mount, North Carolina. after we would get done shooting G731, we decided to get in the car and try to chase G731 to south end of the yard and try to get them at a crossing or two. Well, basically once we get to the south end of the yard, we basically failed. He stopped at the south end to get a crew change. And that's when we decided to end our day tracksiding during Black Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the Michigan Interstate or the Buckeye State Wells.